Hello, this is Alec Kerr, the film critic for the Conway Daily Sun, and this week I'm talking about sequels. Now, this past summer, we had a lot of sequels, and some people might complain there were too many, but it wasn't the worst summer for sequels. For that, you'd have to go back a decade to 2003, which still stands for me as the worst summer for sequels. Now, let's break this down. Things didn't start off too badly. There was The Matrix Reloaded, which was an adequate sequel. It was enjoyable, and it had a cliffhanger that set up the third film to be something to look forward to. Then there was Terminator 3 Rise of the Machines, which was okay. It wasn't bad. So we're not really getting into truly terrible. That film was okay. The three films from that summer that just ate at my soul were Legally Blonde 2, Red, White, and Blonde, Charlie's Angels, Full Throttle, and Bad Boys 2. Now I just want to get into briefly why these films really, to this day, still bother me a lot. Bad Boys 2 is just Michael Bay trash. Bad Boys, the first one, was an okay action film. It was pretty decent. It was before Michael Bay really started going over the top with the explosions, with the sexism, with the homophobia. Bad Boys 2, though, he's in full Michael Bay, I'm going to make the biggest spectacle around mode. And big spectacles I'm not against necessarily, but Michael Bay just doesn't know when to stop. And his films are always overlong, particularly Bad Boys 2. The film has an endpoint, and then it tags on another 30 minutes. And it is just oppressively long. Let's move on to something that offended me even more, and that was Charlie's Angels, Full Throttle. Now, I'm a fan of the first Charlie's Angels. I think it's a fun film, and what made it interesting is that it didn't just have its three female leads, Cameron Diaz, Drew Barrymore, and Lucy Liu, just use their bodies in their detecting. They actually did have them use their brain. That was refreshing. And they could kick butt, too, and all of that. The second film, though, really just used their bodies to do everything. They didn't have any sort of use of their wits or their brains in the second film. It was all just using their bodies. And there was a lot made out of Demi Moore was making her big comeback in that film. And look how hot her body was. And that really was all her performance was that, hey, look, she's 40 and she has a great body. And that seemed to be what all Charlie's Angels Full Throttle was. It was, look how sexy these women are. Where the first one, yes, it was about their sexuality, but at the same time, they were strong, empowered, funny, intelligent women. And that wasn't really the case with the second film, which leads me to Legally Blonde 2. Another film that undermines its first film, because Legally Blonde started out with Reese Witherspoon as kind of just the cliche blonde California bimbo, who by the end of the film is strong, intelligent, and has become a lawyer. In the second film, she's actually more of a ditz and dumber than she ever was in the first film. And now she's off going to Washington and trying to pass some bill about her dog or something really stupid. And it makes me wonder why Reese Witherspoon even did the film, because it completely undermines the integrity of that first film and the message of that first film and the arc of the character. There was one other film that came out that summer that I didn't see, and that was Dumb and Dumberer When Harry Met Lloyd. And it's a good thing I didn't see that film, because if I had, I probably would have wound up in a straitjacket. Anyway, this is Alec, and come back next week for another Real Thoughts.